Hello there everybody, it's Spartan92 aka Nightmare, and welcome back to Rose Guns Days Season 3. Well, Kororo! Thank you very much for pointing this out, and I feel really dumb that I didn't... It clicked in my head, but I'm like, wait a minute, this seems way too familiar. The bit about... Zell using the ring is pretty much tit for tat the same as Rose attempting to use the ring, and she even said the same thing that Miguel told her. Oh my god. Wait a minute. I might be thinking a little bit too much into this, but maybe this is part of Meiju's plan. They specifically made her use a ring, and this just so happened to be a very similar ring that Rose had. I wonder if Meiju knowingly did that with this knowledge in her mind, though. More importantly, though, tell me it's a lie. Anaki! Alright. It ends right there, and then we get straight to the, Yep. I was expecting it to leave it off back at the, chapter thing, but I really should be more used to this. It goes... It's the last thing that you witnessed, and then you're allowed to actually go forward. Right. Let's get started for real. The sky was a leaden gray. It might start pouring any moment. There was already a downpour over City 23, but the clouds seemed to be just on the brink over City 22. The GDS, the Chinese mafia based in City 22. Its influence stretched beyond its control over City 22, and was currently encroaching on the neighboring cities by extending Chinatown. That influence was prominent among the underworlds across Tokyo's independent cities, and you could probably put it at the top of the list of Eastern Japan. However, the position of its leader was empty at the moment. Its previous charismatic leader, Sun Zhilong, had passed away. Management of the GDS had been taken over by the Council of Elders, which had once been a group of advisors. Normally, the position of leader should have been passed to his son studying overseas, Sun Xinglong, immediately following his death. The son's name is spelled the same as the father's in English, but pronounced and written differently in Chinese. Oh, I was a little bit confused. I'm like, was that a typo? But no. Okay, it's interesting. There was a different pronunciation for it. Okay. So maybe instead of son, it's probably Su. I don't know. The father's name is written with the characters, or Purple Dragon, while the son's name is written with the characters, or Young Dragon. Oh, okay, so the second symbol must mean dragon, while the first symbol in the front is a different, okay. However, because Zilong was a minor at the time, the Council of Elders decided on its own that it would run the GDS as his representative until he gained sufficient virtue. In actual fact, Sun Xinglong was still young, and though his school grades were excellent, he still had a long way to go before he'd be ready to sit on the throne of the Underworld's king. From that moment onward, the GDS split into two factions. The one where Meiju was supporting the young ruler, while then there's the Council of Elders faction, I'm guessing. One was the former leader's faction. Members of this felt that Sun Xinglong, the young lord, was the only inheritor, and that the council had simply been acting as a temporary representative. I'm thinking that's, I believe that's supposed to be the faction that, Meiju is a part of. Yep. The leading member of this group was Lee Meiju. These young VIPs, whose talent had been recognized by the former leader and who had been placed in high positions, still felt obligated to him and swore loyalty to his son. They were young, but their talent, as had been recognized by the former leader, was the real thing, and they had enough power that even the Council of Elders couldn't ignore them. Of course, their leading member, Meiju, was a young dragon whom the Council had also been watching and fearing. Yes, well, hello there, honored brother. A good day to you. Oh, if it isn't little May! So you've come here. It's a bit early, but I was thinking about having dinner now. Would you care to join me? The other faction was the Council faction. It was made up of people who claimed that the Council had real power over the GDS. So in that regard, it's pretty much like Wong and Meiju really aren't really working together. It's kind of like a temporary like, okay, I will follow you, but as soon as the opportunity arises, I will backstab you.
Same to you, little brother.
By their interpretation, when the young lord had acknowledged that fact, a bloodless transfer of power had in fact occurred. To them, the young lord and his followers were too young. Those in that group were much lower on the scale of seniority, which gave people the right to have their voices heard, they claimed. In addition, they thought the existence of a former leader's faction would eventually become a source for discord, so they were always looking out for a chance to purge it, of course. Its leading member was Wang Young-hong.
My apologies. I've already made plans for dinner.
Now there's a surprise. At this time, you've already made plans. Oh, did you eat a late lunch?
Embarrassing as it is, I must take better care of my health.
Lately, every time I ask you to a meal, my timing's always been rotten, hasn't it? I wonder if the fate of the stars is driving us apart.
I am certain nothing of the sort is the case.
'Twas a farce. Even Wang didn't really expect Meiju to join him for a meal. It was light sarcasm that was half a greeting. Back when Meiju was Wang's subordinate, he had been taught the ways of the underworld. However, they were now representatives for their respective factions. On the surface, it appeared that their old teacher-pupil relationship still continued. However, both Meiju and Wang were calculating inside their heads how to take down and bury their opponent if he ever let his guard down. Yep.
Hey, little May. We're both people in this line of work. Who knows if we'll ever get a chance like this again?
Once in a lifetime, is it?
There may never be another chance for us to meet under such peaceful conditions. Knowing that, will you still refuse my offer?
Wang had been the very first to recognize Meiju's talent. Because of Wang's recommendation to son Xinglong, the father, Meiju's path to advancement had been opened. That was why he really wanted Meiju close. However, Meiju didn't feel attached to him anymore. With a light laugh and a sigh, Wang spoke in Japanese. Nearly everyone here spoke only Chinese, so the words said in this moment passed only between Wang and Meiju.
Little May, I'll use this soy sauce war to completely take over City 23.
Soy Sauce War? How grandiose.
All Wang had done to Primavera was to stick to some businessmen and divert some soy sauce. Surely the term war was far too extreme. However, Meiju understood. He knew that this was just a preliminary test. Wang had already secretly begun a massive plan which started with bargaining for soy sauce. His abacus had already predicted an ending where Primavera would be cornered and forced to surrender.
Madame Rose is wise. I'm certain she won't make the wrong decision. Ever since the fight with the Caleb family, no matter how thorny a path she's had to walk through, she's always prioritized the profit of her countrymen.
After all, she was a perilously pure human being.
And at the same time, she's rather shrewd. Once she's reached a decision, there's a danger of her doing something so outrageous that I couldn't even imagine. After all, though she did have our support, she's the woman who decided to raid the Caleb family with just 7 people.
Such a shame that such daring would be wasted on a woman.
She isn't short-tempered, but she's considerably dangerous.
So, you plan to erase her?
Otto Ruby has already taken action. She'll probably be on her deathbed within 10 days.
Oh, you're sure?
After that, the new leader will be Richard, who may have the same countryman first attitude, but has none of Rosa's charisma.
Oh my god, this music.
If we want to make him and Primavera accept our peace, how do you think we should go about it?
Well now, I'm afraid I'm too immature to know.
We need a carrot.
Oh-ho.
Richard is wise. He'll soon realize that, logically, the best strategy to protect the lifestyles of his Japanese countrymen is to join forces with the GDS. But he's short-tempered. And on top of that, he doesn't have the necessary charisma to hold all the Primavera together. In the underworld, charisma comes from tales of valor. Madame Rose gained that by defeating Father Caleb.
If we give Richard something similar, he'll gain charisma, control Primavera, and convince Primavera.
I think it's better if the war ends with both sides claiming they've won.
People think that wars can only end with a resolution, or else as a draw, but there are rare cases where both sides come out as victors. This goes into the future, but in 1979, after the Sino-Vietnamese War, both sides declared that they were the victors. When Vietnam invaded Cambodia, which China was supporting, China invaded with 100,000 troops on February 17, 1979. On the other side, Vietnam resisted with a mere 30,000 troops, but with elites who had survived the Vietnam War. After a few weeks of fierce fighting, the Chinese military ordered a retreat on March 6, and the war ended. Vietnam declared victory because it had repelled the enemy. On the other side, China treated the invasion as a war punishment against Vietnam for attacking their ally, Cambodia. So, having given Vietnam a suitable punishment over a few weeks, they withdrew and declared victory.
I want the curtain to close on this war of mine with both the GDS and Primavera as winners. First, we will force Primavera to thank us as our subjects and gain practical profit, making it a victory for us.
Oh. And Primavera?
As a result of their conflict with the GDS, they fought a good fight and forced a reconciliation from the GDS, achieving victory in a practical sense. That's how we'll leave it. They managed to force a peace from one of the 5 largest groups in the Tokyo underworld. It should be a more than sufficient war gain for Primavera. Of course, it will also be a big war gain for Richard. It will give him prestige and charisma. And most importantly, it will give him a reason, a valid reason for coming to the negotiation table with the GDS.
I see. So instead of a special offers window stolen from him after a defeat, it'll be a special offers window transferred as a result of the peace they've won. But, Aniki, if we give him a carrot in such a manner, won't someone on the GDS's side need to be sacrificed?
You think so? Well, we'll figure that out when we get there. I promise it won't be you.
Oh, I'm sure it won't. If we're looking for a sacrificial leader who can win over Primavera, the group which still represents City 23, then who might be appropriate, I wonder?
True. Let me know if you think of anyone, okay?
Meiju had completely figured it out. In exchange for making Primavera accept an unreasonable demand, the Council of Elders was planning to give them the honor of victory in the conflict. And as a sacrifice, they planned to offer the figurehead of the former leader faction, the Young Lord. He was an eyesore to the council, and he was the person who'd been promised the position of next head, at least ceremonially. If Primavera took him down and put an end to their conflict with the GDS, it would make for a great story to their credit as a parting gift. I'm pretty sure Meiju's not going to go along with that. If anything, we definitely... I mean, if there's one thing that I did notice, like, Meiju has a deep-rooted loyalty to the Young Lord. And... I don't know how good of a leader their previous one was. I think it was mentioned, but... I don't know. Part of me wants to believe that maybe Meiju's faction is the correct one. I mean, who the hell wants to listen to a bunch of old farts stuck in their own time period? It would earn Primavera the respect of the surrounding cities, and the GDS would approve that Richard Maogi was a small-scale general, but not one to be underestimated. Historically speaking, it isn't rare for the victors to praise the defeated. Even the Spanish Armada was happily referred to as the Invincible Armada by England after they defeated it. A hunter would never degrade the prey he caught. He praises and overly values a loser so that he can go on and say how big it was and how incredible he was for defeating it.
Hey, little May, after thinking about this a bit,
Yes?
won't you share a meal with me? If you aren't hungry, then I wouldn't mind just having some tea. I would hate to lose you.
Wong's Japanese pronunciation was slightly vague. It sounded like oshi, to hate to lose, but it also sounded a bit like hoshi, to want. Or maybe it was a mixture of the two. Wan Yang Wan was the man who had spotted Meiju's talent first, raised him, and was now called honored brother by him. So this may have been a bit of compassion. A final bit of advice. If the young lord disappeared, the former leader faction would be purged. Its leader Meiju would not escape that purge.
Forgive me, honored brother. I have some pressing business to which I must attend.
I see. Sorry to delay you. See you soon then.
Please excuse me.
As Meiju bowed and left, Wang watched him go with a calm gaze. However, his eyes looked just a little dry. Finally, the sound of rain began to come from the roofs. The sky, which had been holding back until now, came crashing down.
Youthful as ever, I see. It's true that the special privilege of the young is that they can postpone all sorts of decisions, but... You don't have that much time left. Until you're no longer able to choose your future, yes?
Chapter 5. The Assassin. Which we captured, by the way. Kind of. Oh boy, here we go. Zell was cold all the way through. She was lying on a bed wrapped in a bath towel. She wasn't sleeping. However, she just stared up at the ceiling wordlessly like a doll. I can't believe it. To think that Zell was an assassin after Madame Rose's life. Charles muttered something about how he hated Aniki for saying stuff like that and faced the other way. Nina sat on a chair at the side of the bed, absently staring at the ceiling. So, true enough, the poorly matched ring that had been removed from Zell's finger contained a contraption in it. A contraption that could drop a single pill so that no one would notice it. Her greatest weapon is her appearance, which doesn't look anything like a hitman. She's apparently assassinated several big fish in the criminal underworld. The proof that she's Hotarubi, the assassin, is the butterfly tattoo on her neck. There's no way that's the only tattoo like that in the world! You're obviously got the wrong person! Shut up, Charles! No one's asking for your opinion. Apparently it was all planned from the beginning. Everyone knows that Madame Rose feels compassion for ladies of the evening. Making use of that, she dressed up as a recently escaped lady of the evening and jumped in front of Madame Rose's car that night. Okay. The entire thing really was an act. You're lying! There's no way she could conveniently jump in front of the right car on purpose! Shut up, Charles! It was known that Madame Rose would go to the GHQ on that day. They were lying in wait along the road returning to City 23 the whole time. Also, I really like this song that's playing right now.
And we need you to give us a good villain act. This girl's a lady of the evening and she's escaped from your store. You chased her. That's the plot. Got it? No problems here, China.
Then she curried favor from you and used you to gain the trust of our high-ranking members. Liar! The easiest way to get close to Madame Rose was to gain Primavera's trust. And surely young people burning with ambition would be convenient for that goal. Their first accomplishment was during the backdoor employment agency incident. The person who claimed to have heard the first clues to this was Zell. It may have always been a farce set up by the GDS to give Zell credit. And even the assault in Chiba may have been a farce for her to earn credit. Though the scale of the assassin's attack had been large, the locations they had moved from and their timing had been clumsy under close inspection. They had obtained considerable firepower and even grenades, but the timing of their use had been pathetic. Almost as though they had been intending to fail to give someone else credit. Liar! 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 It seemed Oliver no longer had the willpower to tell Charles to shut up. No matter how much he wanted to protect Zell, that ring she had worn was proof. Well, I'd been thinking that our group of 3 losers was sailing a bit too smoothly lately. Even though our luck had run out long ago. We just kept getting lucky over and over. I've been thinking about that. Don't say that. Hanaki Wayne's just jealous of Zell's accomplishments, so he's talking nonsense!
I don't know what to think. Please, Zell, let me hear it from you. I won't believe anything but that. For a while, Zell remained silent. However, her gaze wavered uneasily. Eventually, she hung her head as though resolving herself.
I'm sorry, everyone. Lies! Lies, lies, lies!
Charles screamed as though trying to cover up Zell's words. With a lifeless, forced smile, Nina couldn't help but let out a sigh. Oliver ground his teeth together so hard it seemed one of them might come out, quietly punching the floor. So you acknowledge that you tried to kill Rose-san?
Yes, boss.
Charles wasn't yelling anymore. However, he pounded his fists against the wall over and over again.
So, we're just dumbasses who've been fooled all this time? So, you were lying when you said you lost your memory too? No, that part alone was true.
In order to fake a coincidental accident, it had been necessary to put her body at risk. Oh, the memory loss was actual. Oh! Zell, who couldn't afford to waste a one-time chance, had been half-forced to prepare herself what might have been an actual traffic accident. So, you really lost your memory in that accident?
I wonder, how can we know?
Shut up, Nina! Don't interrupt Zell! So, when did your memory come back?
Right after the attack in Chiba.
Xiaolan, who had been tailing Rose's group, was supposed to tell Zell about the attack before it happened. At first, when Xiaolan had winked at Zell, she hadn't understood what Xiaolan meant. However, as she looked into Xiaolan's eyes, I heard that Charles had figured it out because he noticed that they didn't smell like the sea.
Zell told me.
At the time, there had been a peaceful mood in the restaurant. Also, Charles and the others had been starting to lose the feeling of tension they had felt up until then. At that time, Zella tapped his shoulder.
She said we shouldn't let our guards down. She asked if the people who just came in didn't look a little suspicious.
I see. So it was an arranged accomplishment.
I thought it was strange.
What was? What was strange?
That dropouts like us were making such a difference like that. Normally, it'd be impossible. It'd be impossible for us to do something that important.
Don't laugh! I believe Zell. I'll never believe that Zell was an assassin.
I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry.
Zell bowed her head and sobbed. Oliver and the others could do nothing but stare, with shameful expressions on their faces. Jesus. However, you stopped putting the poison into Rose-san's glass a moment before doing it. Why?
I thought that this was a person who must not die.
Wayne said nothing, just closed his eyes and let out a long sigh. To him, anyone who tried to assassinate Madame Rose, whom he revered, was someone so despicable that he could never kill them enough. It was as though he was quietly letting out all of those feelings with that long sigh. I've been ordered by Richard-san to kill you. Wayne-san! Oliver hurriedly rose to his feet, looking towards the others for support. However, Nina was still just looking at the ceiling with a forced smile. Charles was slumped over and wouldn't meet either of their eyes.
Calm down, Oliver. Madame Rose ordered me not to kill her. To me, Rose-san's orders are the most important in the world. I follow Rose-san's orders and intentions first. Wayne-san. Zell, leave this city. Never show your face here again. The next time I see you, I'll shoot without mercy.
Yes, boss.
Wayne pulled several bills from a wallet in his shirt pocket, then threw them. A farewell gift. With your looks, you should be able to get by wherever you go. What a shame. After saying that, just that, Wayne put on his jacket. He left the music store without another word. It had probably been a shock for Wayne as well. Jeez, the third time. All those things in season 2, just to... Damn. It's gotta be a severe blow to all three of them. I mean, not only were they betrayed, but their accomplishments were... They were set up. When Zell heard the sound of the engine in Wayne's car, she stumbled to her feet. Zell.
Everyone, thanks for everything. I'm sorry for deceiving you.
Charles, still hanging his head, didn't answer. Nina gave a faint, forced smile, but her gaze never left the ceiling. There was some reason, right? Some reason you couldn't disobey them.
There is no excuse for what I did. After all, it's true I deceived all of you. There's nothing a liar like me could say after all that.
Zell put on her still wet clothes and went down the stairs without even touching the farewell gift Wayne had left. She'd probably leave this place. No, this city. Oliver wanted the other two to try and stop Zell too, but they didn't move. Over and over again, he looked between them and Zell as she disappeared into the hallway and yelled. Are you two okay with this? Hey, Charles! Nina!
Sorry, Oliver.
What do you mean, sorry? Don't apologize to me!
I'm also not sure what's going on. I like Zell. I still like her.
In that case...
And that's why I don't know! I'm dumb after all! This empty head of mine doesn't have a clue what's going on!
Charles violently scratched at his head, moaning as though suffering from emotions he couldn't express. Watching this, Nina smiled with cloudy eyes and sighed. It's not like I'll start hating Zell. I know we'd really better be grateful. She let us three losers see a happy dream. We're comrades, aren't we? The four of us swore that, right? Am I wrong? And that was the dream. It may have been a good dream, but it was all a dream. We've been a bunch of dropouts from the start, both now and in the past. It's just the same as it's always been. Nothing more to it. I didn't think you were so cold-hearted. You've disappointed me. Oliver dashed down the stairs, calling Zell's name. After that, only the stunned pair remained. Zell! Zell! The rain had grown stronger. Zell was nowhere to be seen. Oliver yelled as loud as he could, but it was swallowed up by the wind and rain. He vanished. She's probably not going to be able to escape, because she's going to get... The Chinatown is probably going to try to capture her. The GDS. Sorry to keep you waiting! The embargo on Satomi soy sauce is being lifted. The crowd of people filling the shopping district let out a cheer. They had been waiting for this day. We've been waiting for this! Please sell it quickly! Tone shift! Whole bunch of it came in this time, right? You realize how long I've been in line? Start selling it already! The hell you think you're doing, bastard? Don't you cut in line! Angry yells seemed to be drowning out voices of anticipation. People were in a frenzy, determined to finally get their hands on some soy sauce.
1 bottle per person. Thank you for your cooperation.
Whoa, alright! I've been waiting so long for this soy sauce! Here it is! Just what I wanted!
Hey, get a move on. The line's hardly moving at all. Yeah.
Please don't push. We have a lot of soy sauce, quite a lot. Please remain calm.
President, look at this line. If we raised the price a bit, we could have made a bundle. Fool! Just shut up and sell at the price Primavera told us to. I'm not getting a second chance. If something happens again, Cyrus will really tear me to pieces this time.
Yeah, the boy learned! Even the evil president who'd been trying to sell soy sauce on the black market was apparently trying to make an honest sale this time. It seemed he had a change of heart for the time being, after being thoroughly threatened by Cyrus and the others. Oh yeah, you probably would never survive what they'd probably do to you. Furthermore, that incident had ended up getting leaked to the other businessmen. This time, it seemed all the businessmen would obey Primavera's orders.
Hey there, President. How's it selling?
If it isn't Cyrus-san! As you can see, business is booming. We're doing good, honest business. Nothing suspicious going on here.
I know. I can attest to the fact that you're doing clean business this time.
Hey, President. Don't go thinking you can fool Richard again. Got it? When Richard gets serious, he'll start calculating everything, including how much toilet paper you use. In this day and age, you better start calculating that.
Actually, some people are starting to take that story seriously. I would appreciate it if you refrained from spreading it.
Oh, is it really so bad?
I mean... Huh?
Oh, what's wrong?
The long line of people pushing towards the shop front. The yells and fervor were the same as ever, but the mood suddenly changed. There was no difference in the people at the front who were about to get their chance to buy soy sauce, but the area behind them was starting to mutter. They spoke to each other uncertainly, got surprised together, and some people even left the line after waiting there so long.
Huh? What's going on here? Isn't that a bit strange? Pardon me. I have an urgent matter to bring to your attention.
At times like this, it could hardly be anything good.
President, we're in trouble! Those Chinese guys are selling soy sauce at less than half our price!
Less than half? Hey, did you hear that? Sounds like Chinatown just bought a whole bunch of soy sauce, too. Huh? Really? It costs less than half as much there? I know $33 per bottle was a ripoff, even after the war. Even the Chinese merchants are selling it cheaper.
Yeah, soy sauce always used to be about that price, right? I thought there was no helping it being expensive because of the war, but... Damn it, Primavera! So you were ripping us off after all!
Oh, you sneaky bastards. This is the end of the line? Can we really buy soy sauce for cheap? I can't fucking read. The Japanese are more than welcome to. We won't run out no matter how much you buy, so don't push. Incredible! There's a mountain of soy sauce! Incredible, Chinatown! Now there's a major country for you!
Hey, what's going on here?
At this rate, Madame Rosa's soy sauce won't be able to sell.
Damn the GDS. Playing us for fools. Chinatown was filled with Japanese people. The storefront was lined with stacks of soy sauce bottles. Of course, they weren't Satomi Alliance bottles. They had no labels and were from an unknown origin. However, there was an overwhelming quantity, and the biggest factor was the price. Primavera soy sauce cost 3 times as much as in the old days. However, in Chinatown, they were selling it for almost pre-war prices. It was clear which ones would be chosen by the poor Japanese consumers.
But Wayne-san, this way. They're mocking us!
In a shopping center side street, there was a huge line of people. At a glance, it looked like a line of people who wanted soy sauce, but they were all holding soy sauce bottles. And not just 1 or 2. Some were even carrying more than a dozen in wooden boxes. What's this line for? Why are they in line holding soy sauce? At the front of the line, some men who were obviously with the GDS were calling out in Chinese and Japanese. I don't fucking know what you're saying.
We're paying big bucks for Satomi soy sauce, which went on sale today. Come on in!
Hello, Japanese, come on in. So you're selling 3, is it? Ah, thank you very much. We've got a lot here, 12 in total. You'll really buy all these, right? But Chinese guys, you're buying them for more than the selling price. You sure your wallets are gonna be okay?
We love Japanese soy sauce too, but Primavera won't sell it to us, so we're buying it from you all. You guys are really helping us out.
Oh, so the Chinese like Japanese soy sauce too. You sneaky bastards! Then there's good times coming for both of us. Not bad, not bad.
Yes, here's your money. If you bring us more and more, we'll buy more and more.
Alright, back for another round. Let's buy up Satomi soy sauce. Judging by their conversation, they were buying up Primavera Satomi soy sauce at double the price. In other words, anyone could make some extra cash by buying soy sauce and bringing it to Chinatown. There were a lot of low-level laborers, but it was the kids and housewives who stood out. Oh my god, you sneaky pricks. The line of Japanese people and the amount of soy sauce they brought grew and grew. The number of people bringing carts of the stuff grew as well. There's even women and children. It's understandable. No fool would choose not to pick up money lying on the ground. Damn them! That's the soy sauce Madame Rose brought back with her for the sake of her countrymen.
Hey, I bought some of their soy sauce, but try tasting it.
What? It's soy sauce, right? Wayne stuck a finger in and licked it. Let me guess. The smell alone was certainly reminiscent of soy sauce. However, it was nothing but substitute soy sauce. It only somewhat resembled the real thing. It had a chemical tingle to it.
Oh my god.
That explains it. They basically created a bunch of substitute soy sauce and they're trying to sell it as legit. Those sneaky bastards! Damn! In the past, people had to put up with this taste to remind themselves of soy sauce. However, it certainly wasn't something anyone would accept after tasting real Chiba-made soy sauce. It was nothing more than a fake, with a soy sauce-like color, flavored with chemical seasoning. When Wayne spat it out, his subordinates raced to have a taste.
This is just that disgusting substitute soy sauce.
Rose-san went to talk with Chiba because she wanted to bring back real delicious soy sauce. But now these people are selling that in exchange for fake soy sauce? They sold their real Satomi soy sauce for spare change. If they wanted soy sauce, they bought the fake soy sauce at a bargain. No one was trying to buy real soy sauce to use in food. Damn you, GDS. Trying to tear down Rose-san's ideals.
Oh, Wayne-san, it's rare for you to visit us in Chinatown.
Bastard. As the men started to lash out in anger, Wayne wordlessly stopped them. Looks like business is booming.
Thank you. Business is doing quite well. Have you come to buy some too, Wayne-san? Please buy delicious, cheap Chinatown soy sauce.
Even dogs wouldn't eat this disgusting soy sauce.
But it seems that the Japanese are buying a lot of this soy sauce that even dogs wouldn't eat. On the contrary, they keep coming to sell their Primavera soy sauce to us. Now, why could that be? Obviously, our soy sauce is more delicious. It looks like soy sauce a dog wouldn't eat is just perfect for the Japanese palate. I can't fucking laugh.
Bastards. You sneaky bastards. Good lord. And the people, they're just freaking falling for it.
I see. Quite an interesting show. So, this is the soy sauce war you spoke of earlier, is it?
Nothing of the sort. This is only the beginning.
However, won't it be a significant financial burden to buy up so much of Primavera's soy sauce?
It's an investment. No, if we're calling this the soy sauce war, one might consider it a bombardment. See, before sending in a rush of foot soldiers, you start by bombarding the enemy lines beforehand, right?
So, after this, you'll rush forward and overpower Primavera in one swoop.
Before long, Madame Rose will retire thanks to an unfortunate illness. Primavera will fall apart. After that, everything will proceed according to my plan.
I'd expect nothing less from you, honored brother. A splendid show.
However, Meiju was chuckling inside his heart. He had already warned Madame Rose about Hotarubi's assassination attempt beforehand.
Oh my god! Oh!
He had even received a report that she had avoided the attack. He mustn't allow matters to proceed according to the Council faction's plans any longer.
Go Meiju!
You sneaky bastard! The Council faction was scheming to purge the former leader faction, so he couldn't allow them to rack up any more accomplishments. That was one of the reasons why Primavera was still useful to him.
What will you do next?
I want to surprise you, so it's a secret. The bombardment is finished. Now we charge in. Of course, in a money war, Sensei.
I'm utterly excited to see what happens next.
Little May, I want you to have a good look at my work against Primavera. You may take your hat off to Primavera, but I'll win them over in a heartbeat. And once that happens, won't you change your opinion of me and stand by my side like you did in the past?
There's no need to change my opinion. I have never looked down on you, honored brother.
If we join forces, we'll be able to do whatever we like with the GDS in the future. I eat and drink too much, so I probably won't live too long. After that, you'll become the king of the GDS. That future isn't beyond your imagination, is it?
I am not the man to feel such a role.
Pardon me, the car has arrived. Got it. Thanks. I'd better go now.
Take care. Even without your urging, I'll be watching you at work.
Little May, why don't you make a little bet with me?
Oh? Over what?
If I win this war, Little May, become mine once again.
You jest.
Oh, I'm serious. With you and me together, the sky's the limit. I want to spend all the time I've been given on the rest of my life with you.
I just going to let you know that came across as a little odd, but I understand what you're saying. Your time, would you say is more precious than gold, silver, or diamonds? Now there's a surprise. That's just about as extraordinary as a proposal.
I see, yes, true enough. We'll see the same dream and climb towards it in a three-legged race. Saying I want to offer the rest of my life is like saying I want you as my wife.
I do believe I'm the husband in this relationship.
So, are you in on this bet?
If I stand to gain something from winning, yes.
Right, that. I wouldn't be fair without that. Sure. What do you want if you win? Say whatever you like.
In that case, I'll take the same thing as you.
Huh?
I'll have you give up the rest of the time remaining in your life to me.
Can I consider that your answer?
We can deal with that after the bet has been settled. You ought to hurry, honored brother. The car is waiting.
Yeah. See you later, Little May. When there's time, I'll contact you again.
Meiju bowed deeply until Wong passed from sight. Once he was sure the other had gone, he called to Xiaolon.
Xiaolon.
What is it? The skylight opened and she slipped in through it.
Do you have any information on what happened to Hotarubi after the assassination failed?
Well, let's see, how do I begin? Apparently Rose decided to spare her. She ran out, went to some sort of store that had a bunch of instruments of some sort, and apparently she's been allowed to go free. Although she looked quite pissed off, and then this weird snobby boy decided to come out running for her. He was quite impassioned in his yelling.
Ah, I know that boy.
It would be troublesome if Wong easily caught wind of the assassination's failure. After all, it was possible that he'd realized that Meiju had leaked the information. Of course, Meiju had impressed upon Rose the importance of making sure the information wasn't leaked. I haven't heard.
anything about them killing her.
I can't imagine Madame Rose, the philanthropist, killing her. Even if she doesn't, it would be helpful if they kept her confined for a certain period of time.
Otarubi's friends have been looking for her all this time. Either she's been confined, or she may have disappeared on her own.
Disappeared on her own?
In exchange for us not taking your life, you must leave the city. It was possible that Rose would set up an arrangement like that. However, that would change the situation slightly. Otarubi knew that. If Wong and the others heard of her mission's failure, her father's life was over.
There's a chance that Hotarubi will make a desperate attempt to rescue her father.
Do you want me to assist her?
Not at the moment. Interesting. In that case, it may be amusing to have her do one more job along the way.
Are you implying that she attempt to assassinate your honored brother?
No. I'm not considering giving her any more cruel treatment. I just thought she deserved a bit of a reward after all the hard work she's done.
I mean, that goes without saying, considering how much she's done.
Yeah.
Zell was amidst the bustle of City 22. Her face was weary and her eyes were cloudy. She wanted to crouch down from exhaustion, but stopping wasn't an option to her. News of her mission's failure could reach them at any time. In fact, going by Rose's expression, Zell's true identity might have been discovered. In other words, it was possible that they had penetrated even as far as the fact that GDS had sent her. She might not even have one last chance. She and her father might be killed immediately. She had to save her father as quickly as possible. However, she didn't know where her father was being held. That's right, they blindfolded her for every transport, so... The GDS weren't fools. They knew better than anyone that Zell was an assassin, not to be underestimated. As a result, they had guided her to her father on their meeting days, blindfolded and under the ground. Yep. So Zell didn't know where her father was being held, except that it was somewhere in City 22. However, she had to keep moving, searching for a clue. She'd hardly eaten anything since then. Her body hurt from sleeping in back alleys, which she still wasn't used to. She had no money or weapons. She had no information. She had no comrades.
If I don't move fast, he'll be killed. Father will be killed. There's no time. There's no time, but...
If I lose Father, then there's no point in living. In other words, if Father dies, it's the same as me dying. In that case, I have to give up my life. As I staggered, I bumped into the shoulder of a passerby. When I quickly tried to apologize, my arm was suddenly grabbed from behind. Before I could cry out, my consciousness faded. Uh-oh. Oh! Oh, you cheeky little bastards! Don't freaking end it on there. Go a little bit further. Now there's a new way to be a bully. Pisses me off. In Primavera, the core members are filled with indignation at Wong's harassment. The circulation of goods, thanks to Rose's goodwill, wasn't penetrating at all. It felt like pouring water, or soy sauce in this case, into a dry sandbox.
We might be able to keep the businessmen in line, but we can't do that to the ordinary townspeople.
All those housewives and such are really selling that delicious soy sauce and buying that terrible soy sauce? That's so dumb.
If the taste were the same, cheaper would obviously be better. But even the taste is completely different, right? Everyone will get tired of that terrible soy sauce before long.
I agree. It's true people are losing their cool at the thought of free money now. But when they calm down, even a monkey can tell the difference. They'll know which soy sauce is the real thing.
You guys wouldn't buy that damn disgusting soy sauce, right?
Yeah. Of course not. Once you know the taste of real soy sauce, who could eat the substitute stuff? If I had to choose, I'd pick the real thing, right?
Stella noticed a strange difference in enthusiasm in the girls. It felt as though they didn't really agree on the inside. However, right now, Rose wasn't faced with feelings, but with reality.
What do you mean?
Well, it's just, you know.
Of course, I think it's wonderful what you're doing. It'd be great if we could purchase more soy sauce. But when you cook with soy sauce, you have to use a lot. I hate to say it, but at the current prices, it's too expensive to use in our restaurant.
As Claudia spoke for all the merchants, they nodded uncomfortably. Japanese merchants working in food and drink had also established a union. They did this so they could buy in bulk and lower the prices as much as possible. Nearly all such merchants in City 23 participate in this union, so if they could make a bulk purchase of soy sauce, that should have given a favorable tailwind to soy sauce circulation.
Ladies and gentlemen, the more soy sauce in circulation, the lower the price will become. It's true that the current price is 3 times than it used to be. We understand that it's too expensive. However, that high quantity will support capital investments in the soy sauce industry, and it will become possible to produce mass quantities of cheap soy sauce again.
Everyone, if we want to regain the soy sauce culture we lost, we'll all have to work together. In the near future, the price will definitely return to what it once was. Can't you lend us your strength until then?
Then, when the price gets cheaper, we'll definitely buy it then.
Those in the soy sauce industry managed to rebuild a production system that had lost its foundation, selling soy sauce as a luxury item. They've now gone a further step, and are working hard to make soy sauce in a way that puts it in the hands of the common man again.
They're putting in an extraordinary effort. Can we join in on the effort they're making? Soy sauce culture is a Japanese tradition, isn't it? Let's take our culture back together.
Rosa's fervent speech was a fruitless effort. The merchants hung their heads, smiling vaguely and looking apologetic. Rose felt a stabbing pain in her chest.
Damn.
I'm sorry, Rose. I'm really happy you feel that way.
Soy sauce is the drop of the Japanese souls. A sad flavoring that we can't get easily now. And of course we want to cook with soy sauce. We want that good old smell to be drifting through the streets. But we aren't doing our jobs as a hobby or for fun. We're working as hard as we can to earn money for food. I think your idea that we should all work together is admirable, wonderful. But it's impossible. We aren't all rich like you are. We can't bear that burden. Claudia. Damn.
I'm sorry, Rose. I didn't mean to say it so harshly. Your ideals are wonderful. No one here doubts that you have magnificent ideas. But we're poor. Even if we want to buy real soy sauce, we don't have the money.
And so you're going to buy the bargain substitute soy sauce from Chinatown.
Well, it's cheap. After all, we're in a soy sauce boom right now. If we offer soy sauce cooking, it'll sell like crazy.
So if it sells like crazy, then cheap fake soy sauce is good enough for you?
Richardson, on that point, even we were cooking with real soy sauce at first. At first, everyone remembered the good old days and ate it, but our sales went down right away. After all, it's expensive. It's not something you can eat for a laborer's wage unless they won a big bet that day or something.
But our customers want to eat soy sauce cooking, which means we have to make do with the substitute soy sauce, like we've done before now. That substitute soy sauce used to be fairly expensive, but thanks to Chinatown, it's suddenly gotten cheaper.
We wouldn't want to use substitute soy sauce if we didn't have to. However, this is the consumer's decision. Everyone wants to eat soy sauce cooking, but they aren't willing to pay for it. After all, they're poor. They're more concerned about money than culture or Japanese spirit.
At that rate, soy sauce will go back to being something only for a few rich people, right? This is a chance to use everyone's strength to regain our soy sauce.
Rose, that isn't what the Japanese people want right now. They want to eat until they're full. They don't care how it tastes.
And most importantly, they want to save every dollar they can, that's all. If I put my heart and soul into making a donburi and there was a pig feed you could eat for $1 next to it, 100 out of 100 people would choose the pig feed. That's what the Japanese are like now.
As Claudia passionately said her piece, tears streamed from her eyes. It wasn't clear what had gotten her so fired up. However, Rose could guess. Claudia would never refuse to support something her closest friend was trying to do. Even if the cost is a little high, the Japanese people will choose the taste of real soy sauce. Even she had believed that.
Hey, substitute soy sauce is good enough for those people. They don't have any tongues. They claim that they're able to tell how things taste, but all they look at is the price. It's impossible. None of the Japanese people have the common sense to buy delicious things.
Kurosaki-san, that's enough. Madam Rose, right now isn't the right era. There's that proverb saying that poverty brings simplicity.
Right now, the Japanese don't have enough extra money to spend on culture and good food.
During the Meiji and Taisho periods, when Japan was still prosperous, it's true that the Japanese treasured quality. As the saying, "You get what you pay for," suggests, we used to hold quality in great esteem.
The Japanese are fastidious after all. The Japanese agriculture products are still of high quality and held in high regard.
Hey, Julie, you shop at supermarkets too, right? When you do, if you have a choice between Chinese vegetables and domestic vegetables that cost 2 to 3 times as much, which do you buy? When you have a choice between American beef and domestic beef that costs 2 to 3 times as much, which do you buy?
Well, once you put it in your mouth, the taste is pretty much the same. And it seems dumb to waste money on the same vegetables for nationalistic ideals. Though, when you hear about things like PM25, hazardous agricultural chemicals, and mad cow disease, it's a bit scary sometimes.
Price is important, right? The average person doesn't have enough leeway for unneeded expenses. Poverty brings simplicity, just as the proverb says. When the Japanese lost their country, quality became secondary. They began to decide everything based on price.
At this time, high-quality Japanese agricultural products were treated as high-grade vegetables, and most were exported to wealthy people in China. On the flip side, large quantities of so-called poison vegetables, those mass-produced products with harmful chemical fertilizers created by low-wage labor in foreign countries, were imported. As far as words went, people valiantly said that they'd never eat poisoned vegetables. However, there was nothing else to be found on supermarket shelves. Only a small quantity of high-grade domestic vegetables was available. And the worst part is, this is actually kind of true even in this day and age. People will naturally go toward the cheaper thing, regardless of ideals or stuff like that. I mean, it's unfortunately true in this regard. The reason goes without saying. Consumer demand tells all.
If it won't sell, it fades away. That's true for traditional culture and everything else. Madame Rose was able to see it. She saw a future where the Japanese people, who had grown simple due to poverty, would eventually lose all of their culture.
The Japanese love of small changes made them sell away real soy sauce by their own hands. Then, reluctant to give up their change, they willingly bought up fake soy sauce. If that represented the needs of the consumer, then merchants would have to obey. Even though they'd wish that everyone remembering soy sauce fondly would cause a revival in its distribution, that wish was only lip service. They only wished, and no one tried to share in the effort and pain it would take to make it come true. The Japanese are fond of phrases like, "Both parties in a fight are to blame," and "the rich never quarrel," and "wise men stay away from danger." They treat being unconcerned about everything as a virtue. Ignoring things is cool, and passionately getting involved in something is uncool. There are strange people where refusing to show a reaction is the adult thing to do, and simply sitting around quietly like a tree is an ideal. How could a people like that protect anything they'd inherited?
Our world of 21st century Japan doesn't exist because the Americans and the Chinese destroyed everything. This day came because we Japanese ourselves never put in any effort.
The soy sauce culture, which Madame Rose had tried to revive, soy sauce fever, it was easily hijacked by a modest act of bullying by Wong. The city was still charged with soy sauce fever. True enough, the streets were filled with the wonderful scent of soy sauce just as Rose had wanted. However, it was all fake soy sauce, whose smell alone only barely imitated the real thing. The taste couldn't be faked. Everyone recognized the taste of fake soy sauce. However, no one tried to get real soy sauce. It was expensive after all. But even so, if everyone had shared in the burden, it should have been possible to return its price down to its old level. And now, that dream had already been crushed. The miserable situation in Tokyo had left President Satomi deeply disappointed. Particularly painful was the shock to discover that they had sold real soy sauce to Chinatown and used the money to buy fake soy sauce. Damn. Wong, you evil bastard, but it's... like, don't get me wrong, I support Rose's ideals, I really do, and I understand it. But that talk about the pricing and sheeping and all that stuff, it unfortunately is true. I mean, even the examples they use, would you take the extremely overpriced meat or the cheap already made meat? Even if one was made by chemicals, usually your budget would force you to pick the cheaper one. Actually, sometimes it's not even so much a matter of forcing, you'll subconsciously grab the cheaper kind. Sometimes you just usually only go for the overly priced one just for the commodity of it. Damn. I didn't expect I'd be learning a lot about the economy and how stuff changes through over time and shit like this through this novel. Thank you very much for that, Rose Guns Days. Now I feel sad. And now now I'm just looking at my budget and I feel bad right now. Thank you all very much for watching. I'm gonna go and... oh shit, I'm in America. We don't have anything to be proud of. Thank you all very much for watching and I'll see you guys in the next video.